Speak less. Do more. Have you ever felt judged for being quiet? Ever heard someone say that staying silent means you lack confidence? What if I told you that quiet people often carry the strongest minds and the deepest strength? This is the story of a boy named Haroon, someone who rarely spoke, but always observed, always understood, always acted. He wasn't the loudest in the room, yet he was the one who achieved what others only talked about. Because sometimes the ones who speak less do more. Sometimes the quietest person creates the biggest change, and sometimes silence isn't a weakness at all. It's the beginning of a strength the world cannot ignore. In a quiet village near the old king's fortress, there lived a boy named Haroon. Haroon was different from most children his age. He didn't raise his voice to be noticed. He didn't argue to prove he was right. He didn't rush to speak just because others were talking. While the other boys ran in the fields, shouting and competing over who was strongest, Haroon preferred to sit beneath the banyan tree near the lake. He watched the reflections ripple across the water. He listened to leaves brushing against each other. He noticed details the noisy world always overlooked. Because of this, many assumed he was odd. Some children teased him. He barely says anything. He must be scared of everything. Some adults shook their heads. Such a quiet boy. He will never achieve much. Even his teachers misunderstood him and mistook his silence for ignorance. But Haroon never complained. He never tried to explain himself. He carried a calmness inside him that few could understand. Deep down, he knew silence wasn't emptiness. It was awareness. It was strength waiting to be used. One bright morning, the village erupted with drums and flutes. The king had arrived, riding a tall white horse. Behind him, a guard carried a wooden box decorated with silver carvings. The villagers gathered quickly, whispering in excitement. The king raised his hand and declared, "My people, our kingdom needs a young apprentice for our royal council. Someone not only brave, but thoughtful, not only strong, but disciplined. Therefore, I will hold a challenge. Whoever completes all tasks with wisdom will serve in my palace and receive this box filled with treasures." The guard opened the box. Jewels and coins glimmered in the sunlight. Gasps filled the air. Every boy stepped forward eagerly, except Haroon, who stood quietly at the back, hands folded, eyes steady. Some boys laughed. He compete. He doesn't even talk. But Haroon remained still, offering no reply. The king announced 3 tasks. The first, test the wind path. First challenge was held on a long cliffside trail known for sudden, unpredictable winds. The rule was simple: reach the finish without letting the wind knock you over. When the horn sounded, most boys sprinted ahead. They pushed, they shouted, they fought the wind with brute strength. But the harder they pushed, the harder the wind pushed back. Many stumbled, some fell. Haroon, however, paused. He felt the direction of the wind. He adjusted his footing. Instead of fighting the gusts, he moved with them, letting the wind guide him rather than resist him. While the others battled violently, Haroon progressed steadily, lightly adjusting his balance, taking deliberate steps. By the time he reached the end, the judge whispered, "This one, he listens before he moves." The second test, the Labyrinth of Echoes, the next challenge, was held inside an ancient stone maze. Hidden somewhere inside was a glowing blue stone. The first to bring it out would pass the test. The moment the gates opened, the boys charged inside, shouting instructions, calling each other, creating chaos. Their voices echoed wildly, confusing them even more. Haroon entered quietly. He closed his eyes for a moment. He listened among the echoes. He heard something subtle, the faint sound of dripping water. He followed it. Water always collected near the center fountains of old mazes, and the prize would likely be hidden nearby. While others got lost, Haroon calmly reached the center, found the glowing stone tucked behind a vine, and returned before many even understood where they were. A judge asked, astonished, "How did you find it so fast?" Haroon answered softly, "When you stop making noise, you can finally hear what matters." The final test, the king's question in the royal court. Each boy was asked one question. What is the greatest kind of strength a person can have? The boys answered one after another. Power, speed, knowledge, courage. The king shook his head each time. Finally, Haroon stepped forward. He bowed respectfully. What is your answer, child? The king asked. Haroon replied softly. Control, my king. The strength to control your words, your anger, your actions. A loud person can demand attention, but a controlled person earns respect, and respect lasts far longer than fear. The whole fell silent. Then the king smiled and stood. This boy, he announced, has wisdom beyond his years. The next morning, the king's messenger read the results. The winner is Haroon, the quiet boy. People were stunned. Some boys protested, some whispered, but he barely spoke. The village elder only smiled. Precisely, he listens. That is why he understands. From that day forward, Haroon served in the palace. He still didn't speak much. But when he did, everyone listened. Because his words came from intention, not noise. From clarity, not pride. As the years passed, Haroon became known across the kingdom. Not as the loudest, but as the wisest. And maybe, my friend, this message is meant for you as well. If anyone has ever mocked your quiet nature, don't let their words shape your worth. Silence is not emptiness. It is awareness. It is strength growing quietly within you. And one day, that strength will speak louder than any noise around you. So don't try to impress people with words. Impress them with action, discipline, and calm. If this story moved you, give it a like. Comment below. Has your silence ever been misunderstood? And if you want more stories like this, subscribe and share. Someone out there needs this today.